I am going to do a rear brake maintenance video. The disc is actually hitting the inside of the caliper. It's worn down that far. Noticed this yesterday when I was riding. So I got one drawback to having mechanical disc brakes in a rear hub motor is you actually have to take the wheel out in order to get to the adjustment bolts on the inside of the caliper. So I'm trying to get my camera angle right. Hopefully I got it right this time. I'm trying to point it down more. And I set it to narrow field of vision or angle or whatever. So hopefully it's not going to be too much of a close-up shot. Try to make sure I don't bump into it. Look, it's my shoe. So some of the shots are going to be a little screwy. That's just how it is. Yeah, I can see the caliper with this thing, so. Remember, if it would be super duper awesome if you could like, subscribe, comment, and share. Hit the notification bell. That would be really awesome. I would really appreciate it. It would help my channel grow. And we can interact in the comment section, hopefully positively. But I don't know. I haven't had much luck with that lately. About, I'd say, 75% of the comments I get on my videos are negative. And about 25% positive. I had a few people come to my defense, which I really appreciate. Again, I'm not trying to play the victim in my videos. I don't know why people are getting that impression. I'm just simply pointing out stuff on the road that I don't agree with and that puts people in danger. That's not making yourself into a victim. That's pointing out stuff on the road that puts people in danger. But okay. I think that's all I need. There's still enough pad or enough available pad on the inside pad to actually just push it over a little bit more. So, oh goodness, oops, I grabbed the wrong Allen wrench. Actually, no, I might need this Allen wrench to adjust the other pad too. I need to look at this thing. I need two Allen wrenches. I need one for the brake caliper, then I need one for the built-in torque arms that come on the Electric XP 2.0 and 3.0. I think any of the bikes that have a rear hub motor on it have this same torque arm thing on here. Back in the day, I used to watch this dude on YouTube called Dr. Bass, and he did a lot of early innovative e-bike modification and stuff. He used to have some of the fastest e-bikes on YouTube, and he used to buy this 3M epoxy. It was like this black epoxy you could only order online. You couldn't buy it in store. It's kind of like super caustic, but it was like super strong. And what he would do is he would make torque arms similar to what would be on the back of the Electric XP, these small ones, but his were like quite a bit beefier and bigger. And what he would do is he would epoxy them to the frame, but in such a way that, of course, you could still remove the wheel and everything. It wouldn't get in the way of the axle or the dropouts or anything. And he had like a video he posted up where he showed how strong the epoxy was by hanging a bunch of weight off of something he had epoxied together, and he had like a couple hundred, like maybe 250 pounds hanging on this thing, and it wouldn't break. Kind of wanted to get some of that for myself. I never did though, but what I did was I had an old bike frame, and the rear, like there's holes in the dropout area for mounting stuff to your frame, like racks and derailleur guards and stuff like that. they'd happened to, the old frame that was broken, those dropouts on it kind of lined up with the dropouts I had on one of my e-bikes. So and the holes lined up. So what I did was I used a hacksaw and I cut the dropouts off the rear of that bike, the broken bike, and I then used the bolts and then bolted those into the holes on the frame of the bike I was using, and made my own torque arms, and it worked great. Never had any problems with spin out or anything like that. It just happened to be everything lined up. But I've noticed, like, on actually production e-bikes, not bikes you put kits on, they tend to make the dropouts a lot, like, beefier on these things. So they're less likely to break. And I'm gonna have to use my vice grips to get this axle out of here. I still don't know why this axle sticks on the right side, unless it's rolling around a little bit. When it settles in after I take it off, I'll put it back on. I had that on something else. The hell? I think that's still too wide. Yep. I actually have to clamp this onto the axle and then pull for leverage. I can't just... See? And it comes out super easy when I do that, so I don't know why it's like such a pain. Put these back on here for now so I don't lose the other one. What I'm worried about when I do that is jacking up the threads. But so far I haven't messed up the threads at all. Tilt that up so you get... So now that the hub's out of the way, I can reach this bolt. And move my pad over. That's as far as it goes, I think. I'm also going to adjust this. This one's a little bit in need of adjustment too as well. Okay, now the fun part's getting the wheel back in here. Sometimes it just does not want a seat for me. What I'm going to do is let this brake out all the way. Just slide down in there now. Just put a little weight on it and it goes right down in there. It's rolling smooth. It's not hitting that inside disc pad. Actually, it's got a lot of room. I'm thinking I'm going to try to see if maybe it just has just a little bit more that I can move it over with. Let me see. Maybe I was wrong. Hopefully, I still have a little bit of play here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that there, bud. Yeah. Okay, now I got the axle in the wrong spot. Nope, it's in the right spot. Okay. Still got plenty of room. Oh, I think I can move it over even further. I think that might be it. Yeah, I think that's it. It slid right in there that time. Good. And it is not hitting the pad, so that's always awesome. Now to reattach my skiff. I was hoping I would have to take the caliper off and replace the pads. That would have made this a little bit more interesting, but you know, not complaining about the simple things in life, because that would be silly. Knowing my luck with bikes, that would be super duper silly for me to complain about having to do less. Oh, I ordered some bike lights, a headlight and a tail light for this thing. I almost bought some blinkers. I might buy some blinkers, because Amazon has a bunch of inexpensive blinker kits, and that's changed, because last time I was checking it out, they were all like $60, and now I'm seeing kits with like they're like $15-$20, and people seem to like them, so I'm tempted to try them out. I can always return them if there's an issue, and being a Prime member, that's not going to cost me extra to do a return. So shit. I almost bought one light. It was like $16 or so, and it has rechargeable front and rear lights. Had some good reviews, had good videos. It had a lot of modes. But then I ended up going with the $10 option, because it also had a lot of good reviews. It had less modes, but it was a really bright light, which is what I'm looking for. And it also came with the exact same rechargeable rear light. But it also comes with a horn, technically a beep for the handlebars. And it had like 325 good reviews, and I like the review videos I saw of it, of the customer reviews. The manufacturer review kind of sucked, though. It was like some kind of CGI thing about how the light works, and it wasn't really very informative, but whatever. Because I want to be able to do my night rides, because that might make my content more interesting, and also I want to ride around it when it gets closer to Christmas and do like a Christmas light crawl and show everybody what the Christmas lights look like around here. I'd like to go to one street that's over the hill. It's all the houses that are up on Little Mountain behind me, but it's like a really steep street, and I'm not even sure with my dual motors that I'd be able to actually get up the hill, and I don't have the energy to walk up the hill, so I'd rather just do the local lights around here where I'm in this nice flat area. Still not hitting the brake. Cool. Now I just gotta readjust this here side one. Cable brake part, because I pulled it off. Oh wow. Not a very opportune angle to work from. Shit, did not want that to move, really. Oh shit, god damn it. Sorry, kind of have to tilt over to the side here. Sweet. Oh, it's fairly painless for one. Uh-oh. What the hell? I can still adjust that with the, whatchamacallit. See, I don't like that. The pad on the inside is moving over when I squeeze the brakes. It shouldn't be moving at all. What the hell? Dang it, what the heck? Yeah, I should be able to stop for... Okay, well, anyways. You can't really pick that up on the camera. See, when I push here, I don't know if you can see the inside pad moving at all. Like, it's not supposed to move. It's like that's not supposed to move either. Well, so this is going to be an issue of trial and error, and hopefully trial and success and not so much error. Well, that's it for now. That went a lot smoother and a lot quicker than I thought I was going to, so I hope you enjoyed and learned something about hub motors and mechanical disc brakes and the fun of adjusting them. I'm not sure. I've been thinking about hydraulic disc brakes and or the calipers and how you adjust them, because I know it's a pressure-based system, and the pads you don't have to adjust them. They're once you put them in the caliper, they're going to fix position, and how you get it to center over the disc is by moving the caliper using your mounting bolts. So, I mean, I have hydraulic brakes on my gray bike over there, my backup project bike that I haven't ever finished. But I've never actually replaced the pads on hydraulic brakes before, and I've heard they can be messy if you don't know what you're doing. So, anywho, that's what I'm wondering, because like the hydraulic brakes, the pads are in a fixed position, and as they wear down, I guess you just have to squeeze the lever more, depending on the premium or lack of premium quality of your brakes. So I think they have adjustment, little adjustment knobs or bolts they put on the brake levers for higher end hydraulic brakes, so that as your pads wear down, you can adjust the position of the adjust the amount of pull you have to apply to the brake levers to get the brake to engage, or the pads to move. So, but my hydraulics are just basic hydraulic brakes with no reservoir, just what's in the hose is what's in the hose. So, well, anyways, thank you very much for watching my very short brake maintenance video. And remember to have a wonderful wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video, possibly today when I go for a ride, hopefully. Okay, bye.